What's up, guys? It's Team Solemn Circus here. We're going back at it again with another Dark World deck profile. This deck has been upgraded with the new cards from Age of Overlord. I'm very excited about it. We got two new cards here that are essentially Dark World cards. I know they'll be played in other decks too, but they're pretty. This is huge for the Dark World deck strategy here. Before we dive in, if you like, comment, subscribe. Guys, if you guys want to see some more content like this, let me know in the comment section down below. We normally do this every time a set drops. Dark World's one of my fan favorite decks. I love playing this deck. It's one of my guilty pleasures. But yeah, we're gonna be diving in here. We're on the 2 Grapha. This is very standard. You do not need more than 2. I already feel like 2 is bricky, but you have to absolutely run it at 2. You do find yourself banishing them sometimes because it is hard for you to bounce back to your hand. And then we have the 3 Rainbow. Very standard. Searches you for your Graphas or your Silvas. You absolutely have to play 3 of it. I feel bad saying that because I definitely want to cut 1, but a lot of time it just feels bad. I tried cutting it at 2, but it just didn't feel great. So I ended up playing the 3. Then we're on the 2 Silva. This is more important than ever to play 2 of it because of the new Gen and Ken, which you guys will be seeing. You absolutely want to be discarding this all the time, and this is like the #1 target of your opponent's Crows and Bestials. So it's very important for you to always have 2 in rotation, especially if it gets booked or anything like that. It's always great to have. Then for level 4s, we have the 3 Snow, searches for any Dark World card, and the 3 Genta, searches you for your field spell, as well as the 1 Ceruli. This card's less important now because we also have the Gen and Ken, but it's also just as important still to play at 1, because you will be able to let's say you have Gen and you send this, you'll be able to summon out this to your opponent's side of the field, and then send a Silva as well. So it's like, different ways to discard. You're also going to be able to get the search. So you have lots of free options because you can do the activate, search for Silva, and get your numerous effects. That's why 3 is also important. That's it for the Dark Worlds. We're not playing any of the draw ones, the brows or anything like that. I find that you don't really need it in this deck. You have lots of draw power. But for the dangers, you're on the 2 Bigfoot, 1 Thunderbird, 3 Nesties here. I'm gonna be spraying out. Sorry about the glare there. The 1 Chupacabra, the 1 Mothman, and the 1 Jackalope. So this ratio is a little bit weird. I know a lot of people like the 3 Bigfoot. I'm always been a fan of 2 Nessies, but unfortunately, we had to cut down on a Mothman because of the fact that tier's now in the format. So a tier in the format, you can't play 3 Mothman because if, let's say, you hit a 2 Mothman, even though it's good because let's say you're going blind, you don't always want to be seeing this. Because if you do see it, and let's say it gets discarded, then you're going to give both players a chance to discard a card. And they discard like a Rhino or any tier name, they confusion summon. So it's kind of bad, especially if they have like an Agito or something like that as well. They'll be start milling 5 and they'll be playing on your turn. So you want to minimize that as much as possible, but you still have to play at least 1. I thought about bumping Chupacabra up to 2 because then you can summon back like one of your other ones. But we ended up playing the 2, 1, 3, and then the 1, 1, 1. You don't need Snake because Snake really just discards himself, summon himself. You don't really need that level 3 body when it started. You want to have some other effects here. But yeah. Next up is the new additions to the deck. We have the 3 Gen and the 1 Ken. So if you guys don't know what these cards do, it's brand new cards, understandably. But it says once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, return this card from your hand, field to the hand. They both have the effects. This says you can only use the following effects of Gen, the Diamond Tiger once per turn. During the main phase, you can special summon the opposite one. So you can special summon this one. If you have this one on the field, you can special summon this one to your opponent's side of the field. And then if this one here is special summoned by the effect of Ken, you discard a card. So let's say I have, and then Ken here says if it's summoned by the effect of Gen, your opponent draws 2 cards and they discard a card. So we're playing 3 of these because if we normal summon it, activate the effect, give our opponent the Ken. Ken is a mandatory activated, making us draw 2 and discard 1. If we normal summon Ken and give them Gen, then they have to activate the effect of Gen and they discard a card. So as you guys can see, having a draw 2, discard 1, and it is discarding for effects and by your opponent's effects, so it triggers all your Dark World cards. So you're essentially getting a draw 2 and then just getting a Mega Plus at that point as well. But like discarding Ceruli or Silva in this case, you'll be able to summon himself out and then, make your opponent lose 2 cards. Absolutely insane. We finally have like a good normal summon, I guess. Now for the spells, we're on the 3 gates. A lot of players are cutting this down to 2. I still love the 3. You guys will always be catching me use 3. I find this card amazing. We did cut down on the Blackwing Zephyr. You're no longer playing Zephyr, because you don't really want a normal summon. So like you have to have it like discarded in the graveyard. And cards that like have to be discarded to the graveyard don't really seem the greatest to me. So, you know, we are playing the 3. If you were playing Zephyr, I could understand why you want to cut 2. But 3 comes up a lot of the time. We play the 1 Ascension. I still wish I could play 2 of this card, but unfortunately it just seems too bricky to me. And you can always add it back if it gets hit, so it's always great to have. Then we have the 1 Archives, whatever you guys want to call it. This is your library, you know, draw 2. It actually comes up a lot where you discard to like plus, and then summon back like out your card, like your Silva, and then just go insane from there. We're on the 2 Corridor. Some players think this is a 1 or a 3 of. I'm a strong believer of 2. I want to see it, but I don't always want to see it, and I don't want to brick on 2. So chances are, if I have 2 of them in my deck, I will not be seeing both of them in my opening hand. If I see one of them in my opening hand, that's fine. I want to be able to see that, or in the other case of, you know, if I draw into it, I can always discard it off some other effects. And then, you know, chances are, if I have 3, I'll have the chance of opening 2 of them. So like I don't always have to see this going first, and in my opening hand, I can draw into it as well, and it can still be good. Because just for any combo piece, and then discards any combo piece as well, which is really nice. That's it for the Dark World cards there. If this was a Dark World Corridor, I'd be playing one of it for sure, but it's unfortunately not. So it's Unsearchable, and like most Unsearchable cards in this deck, we're playing 2 of them. So the trade in here, we're playing 2 of it. Same theory as the Dark World Corridor. Then we earn the 1 Talent or 1 Thrust. Jen and Ken make Thrust always live. Same thing with the talents. You don't need more than these because there are hard ones per turns, and then Thrust is able to search for the talents. And then, you know, talents can rip the final card in hand, or you can always, like, you know, normal summon Ken, activate the effect, or Jen, summon Ken, activate the effect, discard Silva, send 2 of the cards, then you can talents them right away, see what the rest of the card is, and then you have to either figure out, like, okay, do I have to play into whatever, because, you know, now you rip the card out of their hand. And then you also have the deck knowledge, as well as, is it even needed to rip the other 2 cards from our hand with the Silva as well, which is important. And then only in the 1 card destruction. This card's still crazy. Just don't play this versus tier. It's kind of hard, you know, going blind a lot of the time. That's why you want to talents, or you want to activate Silva and put back. And then you like card destruction just feels free when you have so many cards in hand. And the 40th card is Call by the Grave, because we don't like Droll and Shifter. I actually did hit Shifter with this the other day. That felt pretty nice. First time that happened for me, so I was pretty glad that happened. It was pretty cool. But other than that, that's the main deck here. Moving on to the extra deck, we're still in the 2 Grapha. It does come up in the grind games, so that's why we're playing 2 of it. As well, you know, if you get hit with like a random unicorn, which you'll always have to play into, it's always good to have 2. Dweller format. Baguska, if you do get shifted or hit with Droll, you can sometimes make Baguska, which is very nice. Then we are on the Dugaris. We like drawing cards, the Coach King Trainer, as well as the Zeus. A lot of the times I did cut Zeus, and I still want to cut Zeus, but all the time, like if you make a Dweller and you can end up like doing some stuff, making this can be like really good against like Unchained, as well as like a lot of time you can go for like a format Giant King Trainer if you want to be able to like beat something over. You like bump into it. If like Imperm you or something, they'll want to negate this a lot of the time as well. So then you have your battle phase, and you can just like make a format Zeus, and that's really good. Because like this card drawing 3 and burning is kind of crazy. Now for the links. We're on the Akashic Magician, very standard. Security Dragon, standard as well. We're back on the Muttcracker, or Muttracker, whatever you guys want to call it. I was not playing this for the longest time in this deck. I think that's absolutely wrong now. You absolutely have to play it. It does discard for effect, and I'm back on it. I really do like it. Then we are on the 1 Nightmare Unicorn. This could 100% be SP Little Knight, but it is a Fiend, so it is nice to go into when you are Fiend locked. The Saryuta Skulljet. I found out this was actually an Earth today. I was under Gozen, and I was trying to make something, and I ended up making a Dark there versus David, so shout out to David for that. And then we found out that it was an Earth, so I had to put it back. Luckily, he knew what cards I had in hand, so I was able to just put it back respectively, take back to play. Nightmare Griffin, because if you end up going Nightmare Griffin plus Grapha, it's automatically an FTK event versus most decks. And then we're on the Appaloosa still, as well as the Underworld. Got us for those pesky big monsters that is hard for you to out. And you can just spam the board so easily with this. There's a lot of cards I want to fit in the deck as well that like I am not able to fit, which kind of sucks. Like this is a pretty tight X. Like there's just lots of different options you can play. Like you can absolutely take out the Zeus. If you don't have tier in your format, you can take out the Dweller. And like you can also take out like the Appaloosa if you want. You can put in cards like the Zombie Stein, or you can put in like Hope Harbinger. There's lots of different options that you can play. I don't think any of them really are necessary. This is like what I wanted for my my regional area there. But yeah, it's always fun. Let me know in the comment section what you would change from this extra deck, because I'm always trying to learn. But I definitely think like this is like the bread and butter, some of the stuff. But now for the side deck. Once again, this is, you know, just for my local area here. Skill Drain, negate all the effects when you're going first. Dark Ruler, negate all the effects when going second. We're playing Thrust, so we're playing the Herald of the Abyss because purely is still relevant. And then the Eradicator for when we're going first. You know, being able to Eradicator feels kind of crazy still. I'm surprised this card did not get banned. And then we're on the 1 gold. This is absolutely cuttable. I just really like playing it. I think it's funny. And it's also like another thing that you can like discard going second, which is very nice. And Jen and Ken are actually very good to side out because it's 4 cards in your main deck automatically that you can just take out immediately going second to put in cards. So it's like lots of different stuff you can put in. And now for the 2-0s, we're on the 2 Twin Twister. I know it discards for cost, but it's still very nice to be able to discard like a Rainbow or a Grapha, pop 2 cards, and then have to be able to like bring it back. It's pretty cool, as well as like you'll be drawing so many cards that you don't really care. You'll draw like a second corridor, you can just discard off this, or you know, any other secondary cards you just don't need. You always have like those extra cards you can just discard off Twin Twister. And then we're on the 2 Radiant, as well as the 2 Drolls. These two, I guess, like these 5 cards here are like the most cuttable. Just move this around. These 5 cards here are like the most debatable. I really do like the Kaiju still, and I do like Drolls, but like when you're only playing 2 hand traps in the whole deck, it just feels definitely bad. So this could absolutely be a 3rd Droll if you wanted to. I'd probably change that, but I just really like the gold. But yeah, it's really ultimately up to you guys. You know, side decking is very weird in a deck like this because, you know, you always want to be able to draw your stuff. And like a lot of time, if you have like 3 skill drains in your deck, you'll be drawing into like at least 2 of them, which feels kind of funny. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the deck profile, let me know in the comment section down below. I think it's very cool. I know we're getting a new card with colorless soon. I don't know how good it's going to be, but we could potentially be playing like a card like Fusion Deployment coming up soon as well. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, or if you maybe even Fusion Ornament, so you can summon back from the graveyard. There's lots of different options with this deck. I don't know if colorless will be actually good in the deck itself, but I'm excited to test with it. But if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.